Good morning, students of standard 6. Welcome in day 12. Okay, in day 11 I have finished chapter 10, motion and measurements of distances. Okay, I have taught each topic of this chapter and I have solved objective questions, short questions and long questions, and I have told you earlier I will revise all the topics of this chapter in last class. So today is last class of this chapter, motion and measurement of distances, and this is class for revision of entire chapter. Okay, so let us start. First topic, rest and motion. What do you mean by rest? A body and object is said to be at rest when it does not change their position with respect to time, with respect to surroundings, is called rest. Okay, what do you mean by a stationary object? That means just like as the definition of, you will tell rest. A body is said to be a stationary when it does not change the position with respect to time, with respect to surroundings. As for example, this whiteboard is said to be at rest when it will compare with the wall of room. Okay, now next topic, motion. Motion when an object does not change their position continuously with respect to time, with respect to surroundings, is called motion. Okay, when an object changes their position with respect to time, with respect to surroundings, is called then the object is in motion. As for example, the bicycles move on the road is an example of motion. Okay, now second topic is types of motion. How many types of motion? Yes, very good. There are 5 types of motion. First one is linear motion, and it is also called translatory motion. Okay, what do you mean by linear motion? A motion in which object moves along a straight path or a curved path is called linear motion or translatory motion. Okay, linear motion is also of 2 types. First one is rectilinear motion and second one is curvilinear motion. Rectilinear motion, how will you define rectilinear motion? The motion in which object moves on a straight path is known as rectilinear motion. Okay, as for example, the bicycles move on a straight path is an example of rect. Okay, this is an example of linear motion. Second one is curvilinear motion. The motion in which object moves around a circular curved path is known as curvilinear motion. As for example, when we go from a straight road and when we turn from roundabout, then this condition, when you will turn the roundabout, then you have that time curvilinear motion. Okay, now second type of motion is circular motion. A motion in which an object moves around a circular path is called circular motion. As for example, a bicycles move on the circular path, okay, is an example of circular motion. Okay, now circular motion is also of 2 types, rotational motion and revolving motion. Okay, rotational motion, the motion in which an object moves around a circular path and it continuously changes their position, is called rotational motion. That means, as for example, the earth moves on its axis is an example of rotational motion. Second one is revolving motion. When an object moves around a circular path and continuously change their position, okay, in rotational motion, the object will not change their position but moves around a circular position. As for example, the earth moves, rotate on its axis. Another example, the hand of wall clock moves from fixed position is an example of rotational motion. But revolving motion, the motion in which an object moves continuously around a circular path, is called revolving motion. As for example, the earth revolves around the sun, the moon revolves around the sun. Earth is an example of circular motion, revolving motion. Okay. Third one is vibratory motion or oscillatory motion. The motion in which object moves from their mean position to and fro motion is an example, is called oscillatory motion or vibratory motion. As for example, when you play with guitar, then the motion of a string of guitar is an example of vibratory motion, because it vibrates from their mean position to extreme position. Okay. Now fourth is periodic motion. Periodic motion, that means it is also a type of repetitive motion. Repetitive motion, the motion in which object moves and it repeats the motion, movement is called repetitive motion. And there are two types of repetitive motion. First one is periodic and second one is non-periodic. Periodic motion means the motion in which object repeat themselves with time is called periodic motion. As for example, the earth revolve around the sun or rotate its axis is an example of periodic motion. Non-periodic motion, the motion in which object repeat the motion themselves with not respect to time. Okay. As for example, the movement of pulse, okay, is an example of non-periodic motion. Another example, the movement of heartbeat is an example of non-periodic motion. Okay. Now next is uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Uniform motion means the motion in which object moves or covers equal distance in equal interval of time is called uniform motion. Okay. Non-uniform motion, the motion in which object covers unequal distance in equal interval of time or covers equal distance in unequal interval of time is called non-uniform motion. Okay. Now next is SI unit, measurement. Measurement consists of two things. First one is numerical value and second is units. Okay. As for example, we have to say that 5 meter. That means 5 is numerical value and meter is units. Okay. Next topic is SI unit. SI unit, a standard unit. How many standard unit? 7 standard units. Yes, very good. And what is the full form of standard unit? International System of Unit. And what is called in French? System International System, SI unit, System International d'Units. It is called in French. Okay. Now next topic is measurement of distance. Measurement of distance, that means you have to measure any length in centimeter, millimeter, decimeter, kilometer and meter. A standard unit of distance length is meter. Okay. How will you measure a small distance? You will measure a small distance with the help of a scale. Okay. How will you measure long distance? You will measure long distance by inch tape. Okay. Why you need to measure length? You need to measure length to decide to go where, what is the actual length, what is the length of your farmer's field. Then he will decide and they grow and purchase seed. Okay. Today's class is over. I have revised all topics. In next class I will continue with new chapter, light, shadow and its reflection. Okay, thanks to all of you. Have a nice day.